Hey friends, welcome back to Queer Gravel. Today we are starting a series called Gravel Must-Haves, where I break down what I take with me on every single gravel ride. And today we are starting with tools. Before we get into it, all of these things I bought with my own money. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, but if they would like to sponsor me, they should shoot me an email. Now, with the nature of gravel, you're likely a lot farther out when you're riding than you would be if you were just doing a around the town ride or a road ride. Sometimes you can get pretty remote pretty quickly. So it's really important to make sure that if you're out that far, that you have tools that will allow you to handle the most likely issues that will come up on a gravel ride. So I have a nice selection of tools here that I take with me on nearly every ride, and we're just gonna dive right in. So the first thing that you always wanna take is a multi-tool. I use this Topeak, I think it's called the Ratchet NXT Plus. I love this thing because it's super compact and small, but it actually packs a huge punch. It's a little bit bigger. You can see in the envelope, it's a little bit bigger than some of the real small folding multi-tools. But this has bits from 2 all the way to 8 for Allen keys. The small ratchet works really, really well. And a ratchet is actually really nice to have so that you can get in there. It makes things a lot faster, especially if you have to get in somewhere that's like really tight without a lot of like room or leverage. The ratchet is a really big help. The reason I love this ratchet in particular, and the one from Topeak and the one that I specifically bought, is that it also comes with a little slip ring torque wrench. So if I need to adjust my saddle height or any of the other components on my very carbon gravel bike, I can always dial it in, or at least get extremely close to dialed into the right torque so that I don't damage anything on my frame or on any of my components. So that's a huge help. I really like it. I've really never run into a situation on a ride where there was something I needed that this didn't have, except for 1 or 2 occasions, but we'll get to that at the end. The other nice thing about the little pouch that it comes with is it's actually very easy to store other little pieces. I keep my Shimano Di2 wire plugger thing. I don't know what the name of this is, but if you have Di2, you need it in case a wire comes loose and you need to get it back in or you need to move something around. So Topeak Ratchet Rocket, I love this thing. Never go on a ride without it. Once you kind of cover the bases for general tools and whatnot, like the multi-tool, the next thing that you want to be thinking about is puncture protection. Now, I run tubeless, and so what I take with me is this little guy right here, the Dynaplug. Hands down the absolute best puncture protection. These things are so easy to use and they just work. First time, stab it in there, you're good to go. Especially on a longer ride, time is of the essence. The longer you let that puncture bleed sealant or whatever it's doing, bleed air, the less air you're going to have in your tire and the harder it's going to get to get home. So these are super fast, super easy. They're loaded, ready to go. This is the Dynaplug Racer Pro. I like it. It has dual-sided plugs. So you've got big plug on one end, small plug on the other for this one. And then the other side has 2 of the smaller plugs. I used one the other day and my tire is still going just fine. With that, you lose a little bit of air, you lose a lot of bit of air, you need to have a way to fill it back up. On shorter rides, I usually ride with CO2, but I make sure to ride with this CO2 chuck. This is the Lezyne control drive, and the beautiful thing about this, and the reason why I will not use any other CO2 chuck, is you screw in the CO2, you can open up the valve, you can fill an entire tire. And let's say you're using a larger CO2 cartridge and you don't have to use all of it. It doesn't go to waste. You can actually close this off, tighten it down, and then it will hold the CO2. It won't necessarily hold it for like weeks on end, but depending on how much of the CO2 you've used, I've been able to come back the next day or even the day after and still fill up my tire if it's been a slow leak situation. So Lezyne control drive, these things are great. You can use either the 16 or the 25 gram CO2 cartridges. If I'm riding around town, I'll take 2 of these just in case. If I'm at an event, I will always have 3 on me, 1 for a flat, 1 for a backup, and 1 to give to somebody else. Because if you're riding gravel, you want to be cool. And that's a real quick way to be cool and make friends. Now, if you're riding a little bit longer ride, or maybe it's especially technical, the next thing that you're going to want to take with you is something to work with your chain. So let's say your chain breaks. Let's say there's something, messed up with your derailleur hanger. You got to run single speed, etc. I always take with me the wolf tooth pack pliers. So these are very simply a quick link plier. So you can snap the quick link, get it off, trade it out, switch it around, whatever you need to do. And the nice thing is that I also have a little place to store your quick links. Bonus about this tool in particular, it also doubles as a tire lever if you need it. So if you are running tubes and it's likely you'll have to take a tire off, these are great for that. One thing I forgot to mention about the Topeak Ratchet Rocket is that there is a version that I do have that's in my other bike bag that actually does have a chain breaker with it. If you're riding a long ride, I do think carrying both a quick link plier and a chain breaker is a really good idea. So that sums up kind of the basics of what I carry with me as far as tools go on every ride. And truly that covers almost everything I've ever encountered. And there's one tool that I carry with me everywhere I go that has pretty much covered everything else I've encountered on a gravel ride. Now, this is not a bike specific tool, and some people kind of tilt their head kind of funny when I show what I carry with me, but I always have my Leatherman Skeletool with me. This is a fairly lightweight, very compact multi-tool. It does have a blade, part like half serrated, half straight. It's got pliers. It does the whole multi-tool thing. There are also some bits available. So like screwdriver, you've got Phillips and flathead screwdrivers. It's got a bottle opener and a belt clip. It's really one of the most valuable things that I think I own. I use this literally all the time, and I have used it a surprising amount on rides. People always look at me funny, but the day after my wife got her brand new bike, we took it for a spin around the lake here in Austin, and she got a giant fish hook in her tire. Luckily, she was running tubeless, but I didn't have anything to pull the fish hook out with. So from that day forth, I never left home on a ride without this. This tool, since that time, has changed batteries in SRAM shifters. It has cut many a loose wire or strange piece of grass that has gotten tangled up in my derailleur. The pliers are amazing. I've used them to straighten derailleur hangers, and it's really just a super handy tool. So again, not bike specific, but if you want to be really prepared when it comes to your tools, I definitely would consider looking into something like this. So there you have it. That is my tool rundown. I take this with me whether I'm commuting, whether I'm going out on a longer ride, and this really covers just about everything. I haven't had a situation where these tools haven't taken care of me. So definitely look into it. If you're new to gravel and looking for pieces that you need, think about picking some of these up. I'll leave links in the description. And yeah, I'm excited to share with you more of my favorite gravel kit and gravel gear, all of the gravel must-haves. So I will see y'all in the next one.